All right. Hey, Sarah.
Hey Shannon, how's it going?
It's good. How are you?
Good.
Good. Very nice. So I know we've met each other before. In fact, a couple of years ago, you interviewed me for a mock interview. So now the tables have turned and I'm interviewing you. So just for those who are watching that might not know you, would you mind just introducing yourself?
I'm Sarah. I graduated from Villanova computer engineering group, I guess, in 2018. Graduated not too long ago. Hopefully, not too much has changed, but definitely the campus has changed a lot. Was there for the two championship wins that happened recently, and first graduated and started working out in Delaware at TD Bank, and now I'm at T-Mobile corporate here in Bellevue, Washington. So do a little workout here, back home with the family, back on the West Coast. Definitely miss the Philly cheesesteaks and all the really delicious food and stuff. But hopefully coming back pretty soon to visit and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you sound like our good luck charm for basketball, so we'll be happy to have you
Right?
back.
Yeah, this year's been a little rough, but hopefully we'll pull through as March Madness starts up and things
Yeah.
get it going.
Yeah. So, as you said, you were a computer engineering major here. So, yesterday I was actually walking around campus and a high school senior stopped me and they were asking about like what school like. So, now's kind of the time when people are like making the decision, thinking about colleges, but also with that, I think also thinking about majors because I know when I applied, I applied under a few majors, not just electrical engineering everywhere. So it could definitely be something that people aren't sure of at this stage. So would you mind just talking about what led you to choosing engineering as a major?
Yeah, I would say in high school, I thought I was going to be a civil engineer. Did a lot of civil engineering job shadows, and my uncle is a civil engineer, and was pretty confident that I wanted to do structural and wanted to work on buildings and creating things. So I switched between that and architecture. But when I went to Nova, I met a bunch of friends in the civil engineering program, and luckily Villanova has an introductory course where you learn about all the engineering majors, or you pick just one. And I kind of realized, I kind of want to be a little bit more tech heavy when it comes to engineering. And after meeting Professor Char and getting to know him a little bit more and what exactly the computer engineering and electrical engineering department does, and seeing how encouraging he was and stuff, I decided to give it a shot. So after my first semester, once we started doing new interdisciplinary projects. I did electric car,
Mm-hmm.
and as we both have experienced, and it was really exciting, and it was really cool to see. And I was going through a lot of medical stuff too, so I also did the blood pressure mini project, and that was super fun because as I was going in and out of the hospital, I was learning about blood pressure machines and how they work in hospitals and how we're building it in the classroom. So I thought, okay, this is really cool. Maybe I want to go into like biomedical. And so I considered that, but went to computer engineering to work on the tech side a little bit more. And then junior year, I was thinking about switching into electrical. And, professors at Villanova are always really helpful when it comes to trying to figure out what major you want to do and giving you advice. And they give it to you really straight. And, I think the best advice that Char and Japina and all the other professors gave me really led me to sticking with computer engineering, and I'm grateful that I did, but dabbled in electrical too, which was really fun. Getting to work on circuits and stuff. I wasn't very good at it, but it was pretty fun.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
think just your experience, I think that's pretty common in terms of people coming in not not really sure like this is the kind of
Yeah.
electrical engineer I want to be, or you get to college and you're like, I thought I was going to like this, but turns out I like this a lot more. So I think you're right at Villanova just having the support to kind of help you figure that out. So yeah, that sounds great.
How did you pick electrical?
So in I think this is a kind of a similar story for a lot of people. For
Uh,
me in high school, I didn't have really any like formal engineering experience,
mm,
but I really liked math and science. And in terms of electrical, it was a kind of process of elimination. In my high school physics class, we did a project where we had to build like toothpick bridges, and then all the teams, like you'd add weight and see when yours broke. And I think my team like was the worst bridge. So civil out. And then wasn't really a fan of chemical. Coming in, I was kind of deciding between mechanical, electrical. I don't think I was as familiar with computer engineering at the time in terms of knowing the difference between computer and electrical. And I started in electrical engineering and I just liked it, so I stuck with it. Yeah, so, and then in terms of like how even engineering as a whole, my mom was a huge proponent of engineering. I think part of it is also like, you have a lot of options when you're an engineer, just that way of thinking about things, that kind of just like, even beyond your technical skills, just like the problem solving mindset. So yeah, that's how I ended up where I am.
Yeah, one of the best majors in engineering, you know, so
yeah,
way better than those monkeys.
So then that's how your kind of college journey progressed. So then how did you go from graduating as a computer engineer to your current job today?
Yeah, so Villanova definitely gives really good opportunities for students to really understand where your opportunities kind of go, especially in the summer when you're trying to apply for internships and that sort of thing. So got the opportunity to kind of dabble in different types of interests. So started out in kind of tech consulting, and I really liked a lot of components of that. So I worked at a tech consulting startup. And one part I really liked was kind of working on big projects on a variety of different tasks, and kind of seeing what industries were out there, and what kind of tech needs were needed to be met. And pretty much every industry out there needs a tech person at this point. And so a big part of it was kind of also working with other team members and organizing and leading different types of projects. So I knew that going into my sophomore, junior year that I kind of wanted to, or coming out of that, I wanted to continue to do that kind of work. So coming back to Seattle, I did a little bit of business analytics. I figured that that was a little kind of happy medium after taking some classes that, you know, I like tech, but I also love big data, and kind of working with those two about how you can help leadership make the best decisions by looking at what your weak points are and how you can better improve. So after that, I really enjoyed that, and I knew I kind of wanted to go that route, or a project manager route. After you kind of work on your senior year on capstone projects and that sort of thing, working kind of in that leadership position was really fun and something I wanted to keep going and doing. So after graduating Villanova, I actually, during my senior year, got to do an on-campus interview with TD Bank. Got to learn a little bit more about what work they're doing and how my skills might really benefit them, and how I can learn about a new and different industry that you don't really consider a lot about. And getting into that program, moved out to Delaware and did more of a business analyst and a project manager or PM role. And that was super fun, getting to apply a lot of the new skills that Villanova teaches, new type of innovative technology like agile methodology and big data and different types of coding and that sort of thing. And as I was in that job, I kind of realized coding isn't as much fun as big data for me. So tried to pick more of the projects that kind of went down to that route. And as I kept working there, kept working on more big data projects. And then I started really missing home in the West Coast. So decided I'd try to look for a job out here, and T-Mobile decided to give a really great opportunity to kind of do that big data work and also lead different projects. So definitely took a lot of the skills that Villanova kind of instills in you, from those capstone projects to those mini projects that you worked in your freshman year, and kind of helping you narrow down what exactly you want to do and how you can best put your skills forward. And grow them in your career. So that's definitely been really fun, and working on mock interviews and learning about what other new things are coming up, and how we might help people who are currently at Villanova continue to hire and do those really great additional company stuff. So
Yeah, I'm actually finishing up like my senior design project, whole process now. So it's so funny to just think about like starting it and it's like, how are we going to do this? Like I feel like it just seems so insurmountable. And then as you go through the semester, just how much you grow and learn through the
Mm.
process, and especially in like project management, because you really have to like things need to get done, deadlines need to get met, and
Yeah.
hopefully at the end of it you have what kind of what you were hoping for. Um,
Yeah.
so it was my group. I loved our senior design project, and it's been a really great experience. So I'm definitely seeing how like why a senior design project would be beneficial even outside of college for
Oh
sure.
yeah, for sure. What's your project on?
So my group's project is the kind of big project is creating a solar energy based microgrid for an island in Ecuador.
Whoa, that's pretty
Yes.
cool.
Thank you. Yeah, so we worked on it last semester, and this semester is kind of the more like reporting aspect of it. So we were able to mostly accomplish a scaled down version of our system on campus. So we kind of have the like physical power generation and like
Mm.
distribution half, and then we have a half dedicated to like collecting and reporting on data measurements. So we more work needs to be done to bring those two together and also scale up the project so it could be implemented on the
Uh-huh.
island. But I think it's a really great start, and if they were to continue doing the project in the future, I think another team could certainly pick up where we left off and keep
That'd
going.
be super cool.
Yeah, what was your senior design project on?
Yeah, we tried to build a repository on site, kind of like a Craigslist Chegg version of being able to trade textbooks on campus, and
Oh, wow.
yeah, so building the front end, the back end for that, and doing social media marketing and for it. Didn't really take off because we didn't have another team after us kind of take that role on, but it was definitely a huge learning process about what a typical startup company would go through, and all the little knickknacks and stuff. But yeah, it was definitely
Awesome.
fun.
Yeah, that sounds like a great idea also, just separately. That sounds great. They should bring that
Thanks.
back.
Getting money back for your books would be really nice.
Yeah, so then who or what has helped you advance in your career, either from Villanova? I know you mentioned Professor Char, who's definitely a rock star of the department, but has anyone kind of helped you either from Villanova or outside of Villanova as you kind of progress in your career?
Yeah, so I would say even during my time at Villanova, alumni reach out was definitely really fun, and also really encouraging. At one point, I wanted to, my dream ever since like in high school, I wanted to be an Imagineer for Disney. And I
Mm.
wasn't quite sure, how that process would take on. And after talking to Professor Char, I remember going to his office hours and being like, Dr. Char, I have one question. How do I become an Imagineer for Disney? And he says, oh, funny you should say that. We actually have an alumni who works in the theme park industry as an electrical engineer. Can definitely link you up and get to know about what that process looks like. And that was just like such a far off reaching dream that didn't think was possible. And then after talking to her, we were able to figure out, what first steps can I take on whether it's doing an internship or talking to people in the industry about if this is the right fit for me. Got to do the whole interview process with Universal, which was really fun and encouraging. And then unfortunately that opportunity didn't come up, but it was really fun to even just learn about the industry and that learn that it was possible and talk to other students that also had that dream, and figure out how exactly you can kind of do stuff like that. So alumni connections definitely really fun. We still keep in contact, and definitely kept in contact with other alumni groups around here, and even in Seattle, especially watch parties. Alumni from back in the 90s and 80s come and watch the games, and it's fun to grab a drink, hang out, talk about Villanova experiences and basketball, and using those network connections to really figure out about any new opportunities that come up and what I can do if I ever was in a sticky place, and that group of Villanova alumni is always really fun to hang out with, and I'm sure in every other city there's a ton of people who love to just meet up and talk about basketball and
Oh
all
yeah,
things Nova. So,
for
so yeah,
sure.
yeah. So alumni groups definitely, and occasionally, when you go back on campus, you get to talk to professors, and they'll also give you insight, and they're always fun to reach out with on LinkedIn and give you different advice and recommendations. So yeah, a lot of that.
Yeah, a whole support network.
Right?
Sounds. Yeah. So in the coronavirus, I'm sure that has kind of changed, in the coronavirus this time, I'm sure that has kind of changed either the work you're doing or how you're doing that work. So would you be able to kind of speak to that? Just like how has this time, have you been able to, you or your company been able to adapt to the current situation?
Yeah, I mean, definitely we weren't expecting any of this.
Yeah.
I was actually sick with the flu like a week before our work sent us home with the coronavirus. So right after I'd gotten better, everyone was sent home. But working in tech, of course, everyone in tech usually has to already be on a lot of meetings, but a lot of those meetings are face to face. You're also going to meeting rooms and that sort of thing. And that's always been kind of the lifestyle that in-office work has been. Never really worked from home remotely unless it was like for emergencies and that sort of thing. And now Zoom and WebEx are the norm, where it's most of my team was already pretty remote. T-Mobile has a lot of diverse locations. I have most of my team actually in Texas or on the East Coast, Boston and in Georgia and a little bit of everywhere. So it hasn't changed too much since most of us are hopping in on WebEx calls, but definitely miss the culture of being able to see people face to face, free office food, getting to go to fun events and kind of doing that sort of thing. Yeah, it's pretty nostalgic. I actually got to go into the office for the first time in a year. Got to pick up some more tech that I left there because I assumed that we were only going to be doing this for a month or two. So yeah, it was a unlit office. No one was there. There's definitely some old memorabilia that we had all left around from office celebrations and stuff. But yeah, a lot of emails, a lot of phone calls, a lot of video meetings. But we definitely still try to take the chance to do fun bonding activities like everyone's starting to online game together and
Oh,
trying to connect
nice.
that way. So yeah, it's definitely really fun. I think it's a bit easier since we're still pretty fresh out of college and we can bring in those new ideas of things to hang out and do with your friends. But yeah, it's definitely been challenging. I know it's been challenging for a lot of people, and college definitely, I'm sure, hasn't been the same. And getting to see your friends and that sort of thing. But yeah, hopefully we all become a little bit more resilient and learn a little bit more about ways we can adapt in the future.
For sure. Yeah, and how you say there's some nostalgia in like going back into the office. I have had all online classes this semester up to this
Oh
point, and it
wow.
occurred to me the other day, I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm never gonna be in a classroom like for the foreseeable future. But then my schedule's very weird, so I have some Saturday classes.
Uh-huh.
It's only for the month of March, and that is in person. So
Oh,
I'm happy I get to go back in and smell the school smell, sit at a desk.
right.
Yeah, but definitely a lot of Zoom
Yeah.
happening, but as it has for most people. Yeah, so then outside of the coronavirus, either like in kind of navigating what you wanted to do or just day to day being faced with the like I need to do this job, how do I do this again, like are there any other challenges you've faced in your career and how did you overcome them?
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely say, I'm sure this is affecting everybody, is tech issues. A lot of the stuff that we kind of do also has to do a lot with computer updates and updating firmware to make sure that our clients are being safe and our customers are being safe, and whether it's being cut out in the middle of phone calls or doing fun things to connect with friends, someone's not able to connect to the internet properly. that need has definitely come up, and T-Mobile's been really great in supporting a lot of groups that haven't had full access to internet services and telecoms and stuff. So getting to see how that's being supported and how we can contribute to those needs, whether it's people on the front lines who need access to open phone lines, or people who are students who need access to internet to surf the web and write reports and all that fun stuff. It's definitely been really interesting. Also kind of seeing what type of hobbies people are kind of picking up, whether it's coworkers or friends that graduated with me, friends who are building PCs and getting into the gaming world, or those who are kind of doing more outdoorsy stuff, learning about passions in rock climbing and that sort of thing. It's definitely been really fun. Definitely also given me the opportunity to try out new things, and gives a little bit more free time to hang out with my dog and do all those crazy activities. But
is your dog nearby by any chance?
No, she was barking all day today, so she's being babysat by a friend. But it's always, I'm sure so many people have gotten a dog, especially during this time and in the COVID, and all the dogs I'm sure are loving it. But
and that's one plus of Zoom class, and that sometimes you get to see a pet. It's quite lovely.
Yeah, you don't get that on campus at all, so it's nice to see a dog here and there.
Yes. Yeah. So this interview is being conducted as part of the College of Engineering's celebration of Women's History Month. So as someone that is now a couple years out of college, just for those that identify as women, do you have any advice, especially for women engineers, do you have any advice kind of looking back, what you maybe would have wanted yourself to know a few years ago?
Yeah, I mean, the SWE program at Villanova that I got to participate in, a lot of women engineers at Villanova get to participate in, it's definitely been a really great resource for learning about how to stand up for yourself in the office, looking for signs of unfair pay, or people who make weird remarks in the office and that sort of thing, and how you approach the situations. So definitely not trying to be so I guess wary of those types of signs, and just being open to different opportunities that come up. And when you see those opportunities don't come up, definitely being willing to fight for yourself and fight for your abilities, and being strong enough to say, I can do a great job, and to stand up for those opportunities, and saying that you have the skill set, you're most prepared, and that you can bring the greatest outcome to it. It's definitely something I've had to learn to be a little bit more comfortable with, coming into the workforce. Definitely, as someone who's newer, it's definitely hard to have that conversation with your manager and saying hey, I want to take on more work, or I want to do certain types of projects. Just being more outspoken, and telling them what type of interests you have. It's definitely a challenge that I still kind of come across today. But yeah, I mean, also not being able to see as many women in tech as you would like to see, but seeing them all kind of band together. T-Mobile has a great kind of volunteer program where you get to bond with other women in leadership and other women in the industry, and it's a really great support group, even just to ask advice. And we have great mentoring programs where you get mentored with women in STEM. That's something I also wish I had done more at Villanova. Continued to work on those relationships with different mentors, and create those types of programs at Villanova. And yeah, so it's definitely getting more involved with the different activities on campus, and how you can support people who are also looking about join, not only coming to Villanova, but also about joining the engineering program, and seeing if it's the right fit for them, and about why you chose engineering and what's kept you there, and the resilience that you've kind of had to go through. So yeah.
Yeah. Do you think that you would ever be a mentor in the future?
I think so. It's definitely been fun kind of reaching out to people who were freshmen or sophomores when I was TAing for classes at Villanova, and kind of helping them find jobs, and figuring out where exactly they want to go. College definitely flashes by in a blink of an eye, and some people don't get the opportunity to see exactly what type of jobs they want to do. There's so many options out there, even though engineering seems so niche, but that they can go into business, or if they want to go into liberal arts and they want to do something a little bit more specialized, then that there's opportunities to do that. And doing those mentorship programs, whether it's with me or I'm recommending you to someone else who has more experience that I know, and referring you to another alumni or another company, is a great opportunity that I definitely love doing, that I definitely wish I had definitely helped cultivate a little bit more while I was on campus. But yeah, alumni are always willing to give you the extra hand to get you that job, or give you a little bit more advice. So
yeah, awesome. So then I could be wrong about this, but I think I heard that T-Mobile and Sprint have kind of joined together. Is that true?
yep, yeah.
Awesome.
So yeah, that happened last year. Yeah, it's a little bit of a blur, but yeah. T-Mobile is able to buy Sprint, and now we've become the new T-Mobile, as they like to say. So kind of joining forces to really help and bring all those resources to people who really need it, making telecoms more affordable and that sort of thing. So yeah.
Yeah. So is there anything, either like in the context of your company or just in the context of engineering as a whole, that you're kind of excited about, like for the future?
Yeah, I mean, telecoms is constantly growing. Our competitors are definitely doing really great things, and we're trying to create new programs that help our customers, get there better, faster, cheaper, and kind of give them the ability to connect with people across the world, whether it's someone on the East Coast to the West Coast, or someone in a whole completely different country. Definitely all those opportunities that we can use, and how we can use big data as that becomes a growing field, to really create really awesome programs that both inside T-Mobile to help us do a better job, or helping our customers find new things, such as ways to connect to TV, ways to connect to the internet, and connect kind of different bundles of different things. So the opportunities are endless, and definitely merging with Sprint was a huge up in us being able to supply those resources. So yeah, so many different things we could talk about, but just the new age of technology that I'm sure is going to happen as we become more and more connected. So
Yeah, I mean, that sounds amazing.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like I just hear like it was a big thing that my phone could have 5G, and I was like,
Right.
very smart people are doing great things. Yeah, so I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to me, especially coordinating time, East Coast, West Coast.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, so is there any parting remarks, any advice, just anything you'd like to share just before this interview's over?
um Not too much, I guess. For the women and girls who are passionate about STEM and are afraid about taking the first step, definitely think taking the first step to learn more about it, whether it's from people in the current industry or people who have those answers. Definitely take that step to ask and learn, and see if you're in the right place. And once you kind of get to that point, try it out, see if it's the right fit for you. Whether it's trying it in college, or even getting an internship, or doing a job shadow, is really great to see what exactly a job entails, and how you can kind of use the skills that you are passionate about and are really good about, and using them to your advantage. And women in tech are always there to support each other. I find that we're often the most encouraging and energetic when it comes to different parts of tech, and learning about new ways we can support each other and support our roles. And yeah, and also, I guess, for those of us that we're still in college, not being afraid to reach out to professors and alumni, and those that might kind of seem far away, and asking for help or asking for advice. And yeah, everyone's always willing to help, and especially in the Villanova family. So yeah, definitely keeping that up and continue to learn and challenge yourself both in the classroom, outside of the classroom, past college, being a lifelong learner, which is definitely something that Villanova pushes you to be and to do.
Yeah, and I think you touched on a great point just in not being afraid to ask for help and in fact being like excited to ask for help, because
Yeah.
just those connections and as you said, like people are so willing and like excited to like share what they've learned throughout the way. I
Yeah.
know like when the prospective students stopped me on campus yesterday, it made my day. Yeah. So, and especially like in high school, you may not have engineering experience formally,
Mhm.
but not letting that deter you from trying it out, because it's a really great field with a lot of opportunities.
Definitely.
Yeah. Well, Sarah, it has been lovely talking to you.
It's been great talking to you. It's been fun getting to reminisce on the old memories and talk about new ways we can bond and create different relationships. So yeah.
Yeah, and don't be surprised if I'm one of those Villanovans reaching out to a graduate student that is you.
Absolutely, you know, I definitely want to help any way I can. I remember first job search is always the hardest, and then going from there and getting advice is always a really great plus. So any way that I can help and anyone else can help, definitely there for it.
Yeah, thank you so much. And for anyone watching, be sure to check out the rest of the interviews as part of the Women's History Month series.
Woo!
All right. Yeah, woo! All right. So thank you again, Sarah.
Thanks. Thanks for the opportunity.
Of course.